Intercom doesn't power up till the ignition does.
Okay.
Yeah, for some idiotic reason, I decided that if the engine wasn't running, it was probably quiet enough to... Alright, is there anybody behind us?
I can't tell.
Yeah. Fucking Hans devices, right?
Well,
there shouldn't be. Alright, well. I guess we'll go.
So nothing good happened at SOFR. We found a few weak points on the car, which I suppose there's that advantage, so if nothing else it was a very expensive and drawn-out learning experience, but did not actually get to race a single gravel mile. We did at least complete one stage, so we didn't break the car before we started, just before we got very far, 0.96 miles. And it was tarmac, which I've driven on before. So we were hoping to redeem the team at Wellsboro for STPR. There was surprisingly little car prep to do, just replace the tow hooks and a couple little fiddly things, but not nearly as much as we were thinking had we had to do 100 gravel miles at SOFR. SOFR is headquartered in Chillicothe, Ohio. Phil is from Chillicothe, and his mailing address is Chillicothe, so that's very much home territory for him. All of the rally stages are within 45 minutes of his house. I live in Pittsburgh. There is no home rally for anybody from Pittsburgh. I suppose you could find stages within an hour or two if you searched enough, but nobody has put together a race this close. We're kind of equidistant between SOFR and STPR. However, I've been going up and working at a hospital in the general region of Wellsboro for the last 6 years, so I kind of consider STPR my home rally, such as it is. I've driven a lot of the stages to get to hiking spots, and it's truly God's country up there, and I say that mostly because it's split between Potter and Tioga counties, and Potter County's motto is God's country, to the point where they have it on the welcome to the county signs and their sheriff's vehicles. Rally is headquartered in Wellsboro, but this year they've added a second park expose at Galton. Wellsboro is the larger of the two, so if you go up to Pine Creek Gorge, which is often known by the more tourist-approved name of the Pennsylvania Grand Canyon, kind of an optimistic name, but pretty enough, so you'll probably stay there over Galton. Wellsboro is also known beyond its borders for its continued use of gas street lamps as late as 2024, which is kind of unusual. And I also like the fact that the one restaurant uses a Budweiser keg as a urinal in the men's room. Galton is also a town in Pennsylvania. It's perfectly lovely, don't get me wrong. I like it. Their park there is actually really nice. And much improved since they drained the lake to dredge it a few years back. So, very pretty, very nice town. It's just there's a million small towns across Pennsylvania, and I don't know of anything that distinguishes it beyond a lot of the other ones. They do have one of the nicest EMS stations that I've ever been to, though. So, but that's not something that would be publicly known or available. So it seemed that our luck was going to be about as normal as ever. Since I hadn't really planned to do STPR because I didn't think we would be ready for it, I hadn't requested off for it, which meant that I was working the overnight leading into Recce. So I drove up to the Airbnb on Wednesday to drop off the trailer, blew a trailer tire on the way over. Of course, things are just going to start beautifully like this. The only good news was that I blew the trailer tire, 1, with a trailer full of car repair tools, and 2, about a quarter mile from the ATV access for the Susquehannock State Forest, which meant that they had this gigantic area of flat, hard-packed gravel for me to park a trailer on with no traffic whizzing by as I changed the tire. So that could have been a lot worse. But still, I considered it an omen. And then I had an exceptionally light shift, probably the lightest shift that I've had in more than a year. So I went into recce relatively well rested. Given our experiences at SOFR, even just starting the first stage would be a victory.
15. 10. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Go. Start into return right 2 plus. Into crest 180. Left 6 plus over crest 350. The end of your 350 is going to be a left 6 plus long. Small crest 150, left 5 plus. 200. Caution, small crest is a left 4, don't. $70, right 4 over small crest, 50, small crest, 30, right 5 plus into left 3 plus long.
And here it was, finally driving the car in anger on a gravel stage. I discovered that the tires in the rear were probably a little overinflated and the rear was a little bit too lively. So that was something that we could check later and maybe bring the PSI down to 1 or 2 PSI to make that a little less lively. But generally, everything seemed to be going well.
Drop outside. 120. Right 6 plus over small crest. 100.
Shit.
How are you?
No, that's a tranny. Fucking shit, really? Fuck.
The safety car reached us. If the safety car passed us, we were no longer allowed to continue on stage, and we would have to bag it until after service. Fortunately, the problem was simple. One of the transmission cables had popped off of the fork on the back of the transmission, and I was able to put it back on.
Even if we have to drive the rest of the stage at 25 miles an hour, like, at least we'll drive every mile.
That was...
Well, we're already past the MPL, so.
Yeah, this is just not irreparable. Okay. Just effective repair, which...
Yeah, I mean.
Worse. Something inside the trans, but the shifter was so loose that I'm like, I bet this is a cable. It was right.
Yeah.
I mean, usually I hate it when I'm right, but usually when I'm right, it's about much worse things.
True.
So I guess read me out. We'll see if it is stiff enough to handle a little bit of shifting. Okay. Ignition on. Fired back up. Yeah, that's better. Alright, well, let's pick back up and treat it like we're doing it.
Okay, I don't even know where I was at here. Okay, one here. This is the right 4 plus long over crest. 200. Caution, crest. Okay, car ahead. Red button, red.
Over
Okay.
finish. Oh,
Ouch.
that sucks. Well, we did better than that.
Yeah. I mean, it's all relative how we want to look at it.
It's a fucking low bar.
After an on-stage repair of the transmission, we were at least able to finish the stage. All it left me with was the sensation that I needed to be a little bit more gentle with my shifts. The transmission cable-related delay on stage 1 should make it obvious to the most casual observer that we were not setting any records and in fact ended up at the bottom of the list. We had the slowest time on stage 1. However, I'd gotten used to the car over those few miles, and when we got onto Phasa, which is basically the traditional ace of stage run in reverse, I was feeling a little more confident and was actually able to drive a bit faster than a couple of other cars, posting the 4th slowest time. I actually passed another new driver, and I felt considerably less proud of this when I later learned that Thompson had to do an engine swap later that evening on her car, so that was not about skill and probably more about things going wrong with the car. But in either case, at least we were not the slowest car in the field anymore, and that always makes me happy. Never have to be the fastest, strongest, bravest, smartest. I just don't want to be the dumbest, slowest, weakest, most cowardly. Which suited me fine going into waste management. Lots of small turns here, very sharp, narrow technical course, and a little bit rough in places. It has kind of a reputation as a car breaker. Despite that, I was looking forward to it. It was certainly less rough than the first stage tomorrow.
Small crest 120, caution jump 30 right 5 plus. Left 50, left 1 plus unseen. What the fuck? Battery?
Battery? That's on.
72 hours later, I remain not 100% certain of what happened to cause that outage. I have a theory that I think I'm probably about 90% on. I found a spot where the hot wire was coming into the engine, made a junction with a number of other places, and some of the insulation that I'd used, well, electrical tape, let's face it, had either melted or rubbed away, and I think when we hit that jump, it was able to basically come down to the body and make contact actually with not the body, but rather the power steering return line, a metal chunk of it. And when that happened, it completely blew the battery. It was about 3-point-something volts when we got towed off, because the radio volunteer manning that corner happened to have a multimeter on him. Who knew? Wish I would have remembered his name several days on to thank him publicly, but he drove down from New Hampshire and was super nice and had a multimeter and jumper cables. We were able to get the car jump-started and drive out of waste management, and then the battery died on the hill leaving, so we ultimately had to get towed back to service, replace the battery, threw it in a box. Fast forward to Park Expose the next morning at Wellsboro because our racing was done for the day. At least it wasn't an alternator. The battery was a much easier fix than that. However, when we went through tech, which we had to track down because they didn't know where they were supposed to be, it was buried in one of the books that they didn't normally look in. They found us, and they didn't like how our battery was mounted. So the rule is that the battery has to be mounted to the structure of the cage. We apparently had misunderstood that and put the battery in a box, and the box was mounted to the structure of the car, but they wanted the battery itself mounted to the structure of the car, so we had misunderstood each other, and we had several people trying to do this at once, and Anyway, in either case, one of the volunteers, ironically, you'd probably recognize him from our SOFR video because he helped push us around there. Christian was very helpful. He offered us a loaner ratchet strap to tie the battery down, which the tech people said was acceptable for one event. So in the next couple of weeks before our next event, I have to figure out a more permanent mounting solution, and I am probably going to actually swap out for... We had a lead acid battery in there, which is required to be in a box. I'll just get an AGM, which is more expensive, and I would have bought one initially, but their AGM batteries at the car parts store that we were at were enormous. They're just huge. So we found the smallest one we could find with the right number of cranking amps, and it was unfortunately a wet cell, which has to be in a case. But tech allowed us through for one event as a temporary tie down with a ratchet strap, so thank you, Christian, again. And we managed to start day 2 with a working car. One thing that is not adequately captured on this camera view, or any of the camera views, is the fact that we were waved off under 10 seconds before launch. We were the last people to actually get to the line, and there was a car stuck on the stage, and another car had attempted to tow out and also got stuck. So we simply canceled the stage for a number of us, and a lot of us got assigned times. Driver and car continued to meld with a few hiccups here and there. I had to save the car a couple of times when I started putting it in the weeds. I'm still learning how to drive with my ears, not my eyes, and I made a wrong turn.
Three, left.
Sorry, I missed the direction.
That's okay. Okay, into right 6, 70, right 6 plus.
After finishing Shepherd, we went on to Wilson and did that without very much drama. Didn't turn in a particularly good time, but we survived.
This is the first time we have ever made the car to service at a scheduled service time.
That was not on a road.
Yeah.
But yeah, right.
The only issues we discovered at service were that one of the tie rod nuts was a little bit loose but still on, and we had discovered even before pulling into service that we had developed an exhaust leak, which would later prove to be annoying enough to keep me from using full throttle sometimes because I was having trouble hearing Phil. If we weren't moving, it also had a tendency to gas us a little bit, so I caught more than one lungful of carbon monoxide, I'm pretty sure. After service, we went back to Patterson hungry, and this time we actually got to run it. At this point, we were hungry to actually complete the entire event, which meant not breaking the car on this road, which was pretty rough. So I must confess that I went a little slower than I think the car probably could have handled.
Left 5 minus over small crest, opens long.
What? Oh.
50. Right 4 minus slippy, don't. Caution into dip. Into left 5 plus, short over dip, 50.
Oh, fuck.
50. Oops, sorry, small crest, 30, right 5 over small crest, 30. Let's see. Okay, 30, right 6 plus.
This is a left.
This is your left 5. Holy shit. Okay, right 6 plus, 30, left 6.
The exhaust leak seemed worse as the day dragged on, although I'm not sure how much was actually worse and how much was just I was getting more and more annoyed by it. If we sat still, the fumes coming into the car were absolutely noxious, and the sound so desired by racers was absolutely obnoxious. I cannot believe that people pay to have their cars sound like that. In the meantime, we went to Shepherd. The video recorder shit the bed for 15 minutes, so I'm missing that, even though I turned in a much better performance and shaved almost a minute off my previous time.
All right, thanks.
Oh, we will.
Which brings us to the final stage of the day, and the video recorder fortunately switched on for that.
Did he just wipe our car so people could see the dumper?
Yeah.
That's funny.
That or you're a big wiener on the side. I don't know. I can't see it, but I'm assuming he's just wiping off the numbers. Okay, 30, right 3, 150, 10.
Are you fucking kidding me? Son of a butt. Fucking mother. Alright.
Okay, whatever.
I don't know what the fuck that was, but...
Right 3, 150. Crest, 50. Left 5 minus over small crest long. 30. 120. Left 4 plus. 100. Left 4 opens.
Holy shit.
Nicely done. There's your left 4 open, small crest 50, left 6 plus. Right 5 plus over small crest 50. Small crest 350. Finish 150. Stay left over small crest into right 6 plus. 76 miles an hour, buddy.
Alright.
200 crest into stop.
Alright, we completed a rally. Now we just need to be...
We still gotta get back to service yet.
But I can at least put my damn window down.
Yeah.
So I can suck the exhaust in directly.
Right.
A few weeks ago, Phil and I actually went down to Tech for Chris Greenhouse, who won the Canadian Series last year in his class. And his co-driver, who's a guy actually good enough to be paid to do this for a living, a guy by the name of Ryan Scott, told me that my goal for the first rally is to drive every mile. And I took that to mean kind of start slow and learn your limitations before you push. We didn't get to drive every single mile, but every mile that we didn't drive had everything to do with the car build and nothing to do with me crashing into things before I was ready to handle some speed. As a result, we posted the slowest time of the people who finished, but you figure 28 people started this race and only 18 of us finished, so I was not one of the 10 retirements. I managed to get it back. And for that I'm grateful. So we managed to get our first rally under our belt, time to take the car apart, look for damage, see what needs to be fixed beyond obviously the exhaust. And I'd probably like to, my one tow hook got a little wiggly and I didn't talk about that earlier, so I gotta figure out if I can get a way to tighten that down more securely before going back to the stage. In either case, we'll probably have an episode of the build or two before the next rally, because I'm not going to try to edit an episode in 48 hours like this. Again, it's very complicated. But I hope you enjoyed it. See you next time.
Over small crest.
Poor squirrel.
Well, okay, it's going to tighten to 5 plus over crest.